I was a little nervous that everyone would, it would be a little bit too early for people to even make the first session, so I'm glad to see that there's a good turnout. It's really great to be here. I'm actually going to turn this off so I'm not communicating myself. I'm actually speaking today about Web 2.0 in your bank. Just a few things. First off, I just want to see, kind of gauge the audience. Who's ever heard of the term Web 2.0? All right, a few of you. Good. And only you because I told it. Okay, well, I've got a lot of content here. Hopefully I'll have time for some questions and answers afterwards. If not, though, catch me afterwards. I'll be happy to talk about this. This is the kind of stuff that I really enjoy talking about, and I'm happy to talk to you about it as much as you like. One thing I wanted to note right up front is that the slides that you're looking at are going to be different than what's up here. I've updated it, and I can get you a PDF of this. We'll actually post this up on our website as soon as this conference is over. So y'all can come to our site and actually download that. And we're actually videotaping this as well. So if there's ever a case of someone that you think is in your bank that might find this worthwhile, you can direct them to our site and they could actually see me present it. Okay. The last thing that I wanted to mention before we get started is the thing that I really like about this topic is that not a lot of people are talking about it. Obviously, when I gave you audience, you can kind of tell that. So it's pretty new to the banking industry. So hopefully, we can add some new strategies for you guys to engage with your customers. And I guess let's just get started. The Garland Group. Garland Group is a IT consulting firm. We're based out of Dallas, and we do a variety of different consulting tasks. The majority of our work is doing the FFIC audits. If you have any questions about these, I'm not here to pitch you this morning. If you have any questions about any of these services, we do all these really well. So if there's anything that you'd like to talk to me about in this arena, just give me a holler. What I'd like to do now, I really kind of found that the best way to talk about this kind of thing is it's a very visual type of presentation. So I wanted to kind of give you what I feel is kind of my web identity. Okay, we're talking about internet, the whole interweb thing today. So I want to give you kind of a quick overview of where my little footprint of the internet is. Okay. So to start off, this is the Garland Group blog. This is what we actually use to engage with our customers, being you guys. Okay, we talk about a variety of different topics here. A lot of it's security related, a lot of it compliance related. We're able to engage our customers through this blog. I'll get into some specifics here shortly about what a blog is, how it works, and why it's going to be valuable for you guys to actually use. This is my personal blog. I actually use this for my own use. I basically talk about pretty much anything that I want to, from tech stuff to the latest movie review that I saw, whatever I want to. This is my MySpace page. Who doesn't know about MySpace? Good. The majority of people should know about MySpace these days. Pretty much MySpace, for those that don't know, is kind of it's a system that allows you to connect to your friends online. You can share what your likes and dislikes are, be able to connect with people really easily. This is my Facebook profile, just like MySpace, but this is kind of geared towards college kids. So this is actually how I engage, or this is how I connect with my college friends. This is Delicious. Delicious is a social bookmarking site. And when I say bookmark, the favorites on your Internet Explorer that there's a favorite page that you like, you want to save onto your browser. Well, what this program or this service allows you to do is to save all that up on a web page. So anyone can access that page of mine. This is actually our company one. And you can see what kind of stuff that we're interested in, what kind of things we bookmarking. And there's other people out there that are doing the same thing, and we can share these bookmarks with one another. Okay, it's really kind of an open community to be able to share knowledge, basically. This is my Last FM profile. This basically tracks my musical tastes. Because I took the option of actually downloading a little software program into my computer, it tracks every single track that I ever play on my computer, music track, or on my iPod. And then it puts it up here for everybody to see. Now, why would you want to do that, right? The reason that I do that is because I like to be able to share, the new bands that I'm listening to. What we can do is actually I've got friends on here that can see what I'm listening to, and they might see a new band and say, hey, let's check this guy out. If Brad likes something, maybe I like him. And you're able to share that content. This is a really great site, and frankly, I don't know why Apple hadn't bought it yet. All right, lastly, this is my Flickr page. Flickr is an online photo sharing site, so we had bookmarks, we had music. This is photos. Okay, this is all the photos that we share are, me and my wife share are on this page. And most of the pictures involve this little one here. I love that picture. We basically put, our entire lives online for people to see. It's a great way for friends and family to view kind of what's been happening with us. When we get done here, we're going to take the pictures from this conference, put it up on our Garland group Flickr page for everybody to see and experience. And what you can actually do on this is that you can actually comment on those pictures and actually engage with one another on the web. Okay. So what's my point here with all these sites? Essentially, this is my web. Okay, this is my little identity on the internet. And the reason that it's important to me is because a lot of this stuff in relation to banks, I was thinking about it last night, and I haven't been to a bank in 3 years. Okay, everything that I do is via the internet. And I'm sure you guys are thinking, well, that's what the younger crowd's doing. A lot of the younger crowd is doing that for sure, but a lot of the older crowd is learning the ways of the internet too. And a lot of them are expecting some services like this in the banking world to be available to them. And frankly, I wish I could have it right now. Okay. So let's get into what I basically, all these services are really what I call the new web. Okay. It's a new way of doing things. It's Web 2.0. And what I'm going to try to do now is kind of go into what the differences are between Web 1.0, or what is 1.0 in the first place, and what's Web 2.0 now. Okay, so to put a little comparison together, Web 1.0, if you had to gauge Web 1.0, it's probably between, well, I guess the internet got started out in the late 70s, something like that. And it's kind of progressed, and I would probably consider the actual 1.0 phase to be between the 90s and the early 2000s. Okay, this Web 2.0 has only taken over probably about 2.5 years ago, I'd say. So what's the difference? Web 1.0 is basically what a lot of the banks that I go in and see are doing. They basically have a web page up. They've got the products. They got their services. They maybe have the rates, online banking, of course. But the thing is that these pages are the same. They maybe haven't changed for weeks or months at a time, hopefully not years. Okay. Rates pages have changed, that's good, but that's not Web 2.0. Okay. Web 2.0 is about engaging your customers. So Web 1.0 kind of falls and you have web pages up that just kind of sit there static and don't ever really get used by you or your customers. Web 2.0 is more dynamic, it's multi-way. It's actually creating a conversation online. Okay. When we get into blogs, there's a very powerful, what am I trying to say? There's a very powerful concept going on in the blogging world about creating a conversation with your customers, or even, on my personal blog, even friends of mine or people that I don't know. Okay, we'll get into the examples of that. The best analogy that I heard about Web 1.0 and 2.0 is 1.0 links documents together, where Web 2.0 links people together. Just keep that in there. Here's the full definition of Web 2.0. Tim O'Reilly of O'Reilly Media coined the term Web 2.0 a couple, 3 years ago. This is a really exhaustive definition, and I'm not going to read it to you. But essentially what it's saying, I highlighted the key points. The network as a platform, so essentially what they're saying is that getting out of the Microsoft OS, everything's on one machine. You do all your Excel spreadsheets on one machine, all your Word documents, all your emails on one machine. It's actually pushing all that information up into what they call the cloud, or pushing it onto the internet, okay? Delivering software is a continually updated service that gets better the more people use it. This goes back to that delicious page that I was showing, the social bookmarking site, where people can share bookmarks with one another, or share their musical taste with one another. Okay? It gets better. The more people that do that, the service just gets better and better and better. And basically what I've done is I've kind of whittled it down to 3 key areas. On your slides, it probably says communication, but connection is probably a little bit more appropriate. Connection, what I mean by connection is that yesterday one of the speakers mentioned that 83% of people in U.S. homes have internet access. So 60% of those people have broadband access. Okay, when they say broadband, I mean go fast, quick internet access like you have at work, right? And that's important because the more people that have broadband access, the easier they are able to enjoy these services, to be able to get more out of them. Conversation. Again, this is very Web 2.0. It's about creating a conversation online in the morning. Instead of just setting up a web page and leaving it as is. Okay? And most importantly is collaboration. Collaboration is kind of the key for the businesses because they're able to do a lot of things through the internet that they couldn't do in their using the Microsoft projects, we have an online project management tool that we use that our clients can connect to. Some of our clients here could attribute to that. And we centralize everything through that web service. It's great because we're able to talk back and forth, we're able to share files, we're able to set milestones for people. It's a full project management solution, I guess. So that's kind of what Web 2.0 is whittled down to, really, those 3 key concepts. I wanted to get into some stats of Web 2.0. Starting off, all these numbers are definitely averages, but right now they state that there's about 60 million blogs in the world. When I say, I'm assuming, do we know what blog is? Okay, cool. You guys are, yeah, y'all in the right room. Okay, well, there's 60 million blogs. They said that a blog is being created once a second. How in the world they got that number? I don't know, but that's what I read. Podcasts. What about podcasts? We got blogs. Everybody know what podcast is? Okay. Podcast is like an audio file, basically. Okay. A lot of these news shows, radio shows, are going onto the internet now, and are basically, it's an audio file that you can download. Okay. It's not only the radio shows, though. Okay. It's Joe Bob wanting to talk about honey or whatever. Okay. As long as you got a microphone and a computer, you can create a podcast, and you can create it and have worldwide distribution that the media companies used to pay millions for, and we've got it at the touch of our fingertips now. Okay. I don't know if I stated this already, but the 150,000 podcasts, they've already stated that there are more podcasts in the world than radio stations worldwide. Okay. And that number is only increasing. For Wikipedia, when I'm talking about wikis, what about wikis? All right, that's fine. It's all right. Wiki is Hawaiian for quick. A gentleman named Ward Cunningham created the wiki, and essentially what it is it enables you to create web pages and give everyone access to creating those web pages with you. Okay? I'll give you an example shortly. And I think wikis, especially in a small bank, could be extremely powerful. I also kind of call them the poor man's internet, or intranet. Okay? You don't have to worry about SharePoint and all those types of services. One thing that I probably should mention is that all of these services, or everything that I'm talking about today, is totally free. Okay, we're not talking major investment costs, minus people's time to get things going. As far as the software, it's completely open source. It's completely free. So Wikipedia, what it is it's an online encyclopedia. It rivals Encyclopedia Britannica. They have done a study with the Britannica versus Wikipedia and actually find that both of these services have about the same error rate. Now the difference is the Britannica is set up by a handful of people and they do it in hardbound copies. Whereas Wikipedia is actually done by thousands upon thousands of people that edit these pages every day. They update these services. What did I tell you guys the other day? There was whenever was it the London bombings? Is that what it's called? Yeah, the London bombings. When the London bombings happened, on Wikipedia, it hit Wikipedia's encyclopedia in, I believe it was 8 minutes. From the time that it happened to when it got online for the world to start understanding what's going on at the London bombing, it took 8 minutes. Okay? The encyclopedia, it took the next year's edition. Okay? So we're talking real-time type of stuff. Okay, MySpace. Talked a little bit about MySpace. 150 million users on MySpace. Okay, questionably, is that really truly how many numbers there are? It's in the ballpark. Okay, 150 million users. Now, you think MySpace, you think teens, right? You think my daughters, playing on MySpace or whatever. Interesting fact, though, between 12 and 18, there's only between ages 12 and 18 is only 25% of the user base of MySpace. Okay, from 19 to 50 is 63%. So we're not talking about kids on this thing anymore. We're talking about, the adults being able to use services like this. And then over 50, it's 10% of the user base of MySpace. So 10% of 150 million, 15 million, it's not too shabby. Not too shabby. So from a business standpoint, who's getting involved? What kind of companies are getting involved with this? The thing about the Web 2.0 movement is that, again, the open source, I can do a whole other session on open source. It's basically where people don't own the software. They have a lot of people attributing to building this type of software just because they feel the need to help. Okay? So they're creating a lot of the software completely for free, and it's enabling these companies to build extremely fast and extremely focused products. And I want to give you all just kind of a quick indication of what kind of boom there is. There's actually 3 pages of these. That's just one page. Okay. And these are all companies that are building products right now. Most are consumer market products. Okay. A lot of them, I'll show you a few today that are for banking people or people that are needing money or stuff like that. I'll show you some of that today. But a lot of these products are coming out right now. Okay. And a lot of people understand how these technologies work and they want to be able to use them. And the banks really need to get online with what this stuff is all about and be able to talk to their customers about what their customers like and what they want to use and how can we help you, using those products. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but Time Magazine even came out recently and named you guys as the Person of the Year. Basically, it's stating is citizen journalism. Okay, all the content that's been being created now and putting up on the internet. You've got YouTube being a video sharing site that's just changing the way that everything's done. Really, I'm really interested to see what the 2008 presidential race is going to look like with YouTube now. I know John Edwards is producing all of his announcements via YouTube now, trying to get to that younger market, I guess. So very interesting to see. In a world like this, those politicians, they can't mess up because anybody with a cell phone can record it and put it up on YouTube for the world to see. I don't know if you guys saw the, what is Seinfeld, Cosmo Kramer at the Comedy Store, or the Comedy Store shop or whatever? Yeah, all y'all did. Okay, cool. See, that's changed his career. I mean, he's digging right now as fast as he can get out of that. For those of you that don't know, Kramer for Seinfeld, I don't know, what's his name, Michael Richards? Is that his name? Yeah. He was at a comedy, he was doing a comedy bit at the Laugh Factory or something like that in San Francisco or LA, and he started yelling out racist remarks to one of his audience members, and somebody caught it on a cell phone video camera, put it up on YouTube, and he's been on CNN, had to deal with it, and it's all over the place. Okay, so let me get a little bit into the technology. I'll try not to be too technical, but I really think you guys need to understand this foundation so we can kind of move forward. RSS stands for Really Simple Syndication, okay? And this what connects all of these products. I'm going to be talking about podcasts, blogs, and wikis today, okay? All three of those solutions use RSS to be able to syndicate their content. What I mean by this is that, I'll give you an example here in a second, but basically it's a communications protocol that will allow you to get information as soon as it's available. Okay? So for example, I sign up for the Dallas Morning newspaper, and I want to know the latest about the Mavericks. They won last night. So I want to know up-to-date stats. Who's injured, whatever. I can subscribe to an RSS feed, and this icon has kind of become the standard icon now. So you'll see this all over web pages now. You should. Anytime that the Dallas Morning News posts something to their website, it pushes down to me, and I know about it as soon as it happens. Okay? It's really up to your feed reader on how quickly you're getting that information. I was almost getting inundated too much with information, so I had to slow it down to every 15 minutes. But it's essentially real time if you want it to be. Okay? Here's an example of the New York Times. Okay? I went into the RSS feed section, and as you can see, they broke it down here by category and subcategory. Up at the top right there, you can actually see that they do podcasts as well, free podcasts that come from their site. The one up to the right is kind of the standard podcast icon, and down here is the RSS and the kind of the text-based information I suppose. So what I'll do, just for example, let's just say that I want every bit of information from the business section of the New York Times. I'll actually click on this icon here. It'll load up into my feed reader. What I've done here is that I've subscribed to this RSS, and now I have every bit of information that's currently in their feed. And anytime something new comes in, it pops up to the top for me. So when I originally subscribed to this, there was 11 new items that I could read. And what I can do is I can click on any one of these articles, and I can read. This has pretty much wiped out the newspaper for me, any magazines. You know, if I want to get my morning read in, sit down on my computer now. Okay. Extremely fast. It's focused content that you care about. You don't have to deal with all the advertisements. You know, that's a big thing. We're inundated with advertisements these days. So to be able to cut all that crap out, just focus on the stuff that you want is extremely powerful. One thing that I wanted to also mention, this is a feed reader. Okay, you can have one of those if you want, but the reason that I know that RSS is moving and everyone's going to sooner or later adopt it is because IE7 has just come out, as you IT guys are fully aware of, and it has built-in RSS capabilities to be able to read these feeds. Firefox, which is getting a lot of market share now, is another browser. They too use RSS, so you can actually subscribe to RSS via their browser and not even need a program like this. Okay. RSS also works for podcasts. This is my iTunes podcast directory. These are all the podcasts that I've actually subscribed to. And again, whenever a new podcast comes out, when I say podcast, I'm talking not only audio, but also video. There's people that do video blogs or video podcasts. So I'll get those as well. This will get refreshed every so often, and it'll pull down new content via that RSS feed. Whenever the feed shows new content, pull it down automatically for me. I can listen to it if I want, and delete it if I want, it doesn't matter. And then, you know, one step further is that I put my iPod in, and then it's synced to my iPod, and then I can take it on the car with me, take it on a run, whatever I want to do. So, pretty powerful stuff. All right, so I want to get into these three and basically talk about, you know, how can they work for the banks? Okay, that's all well and good that you showed me all that consumer-based stuff, but you know, how can this stuff work for me? So we'll start with blogs. Okay, like I said before, all this stuff is completely free to you. Whether you want to run it on your own system in the bank, or you want to sign up for a service and just link a blog from your website, you can totally do that. If you're blogger.com, for example, you can sign up for a blog right now. It'll take you 30 seconds. Link it to your bank's webpage, and you got a blog. Okay, not that difficult. They're free, they're extremely powerful, they're search engine friendly, which I'll get into here in a second. Really easy to learn. In our company, we have a blog, and every one of our people post blogs on an interim basis about a variety of different topics. So just about anybody can do it. Worldwide distribution. So, I mean, you're on the same plane as the New York Times as far as content. You're no higher than them other than their name than they are. So anyone can access that RSS feed. I think that's extremely powerful. Frankly, I wish Kathy were in here because on Wednesday, I would really love for the TBA site to have an RSS feed that I can subscribe to, and I can know whether this conference was even going to happen. Okay. Instead, I got I think a 50-person mass email to me that I'm surprised half the people didn't get because their spam filters didn't catch it, right? So if I knew I could subscribe to it, not only could I know about closings like that, I can know about new events that are coming up with TBA. I can, anything that's going on related to TBA, I can find out about. Okay. Most importantly, blogs engage your customers. With every post, below it, there's a comment section. Okay, so someone can come in anywhere in the world and can comment on your post. Okay, so if you're talking about a new product that they think is pretty interesting, maybe they have a question about it, they can go and post a comment and ask you about the products, and then you can go back into the comment section, you can respond. You're creating a dialogue right there, online. Nobody has to go to the branch. No one has to phone. Don't have to wait on hold to talk to customers. It's extremely powerful. So let me give you an example of how powerful blogs are. Once again, this is my personal blog. I really had a hard time finding bank examples because it's just not there yet. Okay? So I go with what I know. This is a blog post that I did about Canon customer service. I had LCD screen crapped out on me, returned it to Canon. I was so surprised. Normally you get one of those 8-10 week turnarounds. They got it back to me in like 4 or 5 days. I was amazed. I got an email stating we got your order. I got an email stating we shipped it back to you, and they sent it, 2 days, and I got it back. It was awesome. So if you need a camera, I recommend it. So a couple things are going on here. So I've got my post, but down here you can actually see the comments going on. Okay, and basically, someone came onto my site and said, "That's amazing. Give me some more incentive to consider Canon." All right, so despite Canon's attempts to advertise to people, this lady is going to find it way more impressive that I recommended them than all the stuff that Canon's doing. Because most of that stuff, she's just so numb with Canon or any sort of advertisement that it just doesn't get into her skull. It's something like this. I bet the next time she gets a camera, she's seriously going to be looking at Canon. Okay? And I was able to go back in and I was able to joke with her, but I'm creating a conversation. Okay? And then, interesting enough, I'm kind of a stats junkie when it comes to web stats and stuff. I noticed I was getting a slew of traffic coming from Google. And I was like, what's the deal? So what I did is that I went to, I drilled down into it a little bit. And, we're talking Canon, right? Canon's a worldwide company. Millions and millions of dollars are spent on advertising. Okay? And I'm just a little one-man blog trying to have fun with it. So what I noticed, I pull up Google. This is the first page of Google. And Brad made the top 5. Basically, blogs are, the search engines love blogs. The reason is because search engines work based on link relevancy. What that means is the more people that link to your blog or to your website, the higher you're going to be up in the Google listings. Okay? So because I have a fair amount of traffic to my blog, I get bumped up. So it doesn't matter how much money Canon spends on their advertisement. When they go to Canon customer service, they're going to find Brad, and thankfully that's a positive one. But I've seen examples where someone searches for the worst bank ever and the worst credit union ever, and it's the same credit union. So you don't want to be on that list. It's some guy's blog that he decided he had a bad experience, and now he's become an example, which means more people link to him, and he's probably forever on the top of Google moving forward on that particular search. So it just shows how powerful they are. So let me give you some internal and external uses on how we can use these. These are just recommendations. Take them or leave them. For internal use, you can do for policy changes, job openings, new jobs. A blog would be really helpful if we had a lot of branches or we were spread out pretty good. Social events, closings. I heard The other day, one of our clients was on the phone for easily 6 hours trying to, people calling, do we go in today? It's icy, do we go in? On the phone for 6 hours. Post up a blog post, tell everybody to subscribe to it. They'll know right then that morning when they sit down at their virtual newspaper what the status of work is. Suggestion boxes, not only you can engage with your customers, but you engage with your employees. They can help you out too. The tellers, there's a lot of things that people back in operations don't see, and they can offer up some suggestions that could be pretty pivotal to your bank. Yes, sir.
Supplement to your intranet, right?
Right. When we get over to wikis, I kind of consider a wiki kind of a poor man's internet. Okay, I'll get into some examples of that. But this is kind of a, I mean, you could say that too, because there's some parts of the internet that you kind of do postings like this too. The thing about this though is that intranets, or if you're using SharePoint or something like that, or something similar, that stuff costs a lot of money. SharePoint servers and stuff, that's a lot of money. This stuff, entirely free, okay, and just as powerful. Another example that I just happened to find on Tuesday when I got here, the owner of this very chain of hotels just set up a blog. 76-year-old Bill Marriott, CEO and chairman of Marriott International. Okay, and this isn't super impressive, but what I wanted to show is, for one, he created a blog. 76 years old, that's great. Two, there's an RSS feed. Okay, and then third, I really liked what he had to say in the very first paragraph. I really liked it. And I know this is where the action is if you want to talk to your customers directly and hear back from them. Soon we'll add audio versions of the blog. That's how I'm most comfortable telling stories and listening. Bill, when he's talking about audio version, he's talking about a podcast. Okay. He just doesn't know that terminology. He just figured out, give him a second. So, but I mean, I think that's great. I think that's extremely succinct way to say that. So on podcast, let's go over podcasts a little bit. Once again, completely free to produce. You need one of these, you need one of those, and you can set up a podcast. Okay. RSS capable, and you can subscribe them to iTunes if you wanted to, or any, there's just a slew of different services that will pull in your podcast for you so people can listen to. Okay. iTunes is going to be the most used one. I think there's 70% market share or something like that. But anyone in the world could do it. So would I record your minutes, put it on iTunes? No, not necessarily. But if you had something, I could go on this for days, but you don't necessarily want to have a podcast be a straight advertisement about your bank, because I ain't going to listen to it. I know a lot of people out there not going to listen to it. You have to think kind of outside the box on what you're going to do to provide value to people that are listening to this thing. So what I've seen a lot of, credit unions are actually getting into this a lot quicker than banks. What I've seen them starting out doing is they're talking about financial responsibility, for example. It doesn't really have anything to do with the bank, but it's in their industry, so it really can help customers out. Okay. Let me get into some more uses. Internal uses. They were talking about training the other day. I don't remember even their example, but I don't see why stuff like training events or any sort of training. Oh, they were talking about training the trainer is what it was. And they were saying that 80%, 80%, 80%. Well, why don't you just record the trainer at first and have the guy listen to an audio podcast or a video podcast and listen to the actual trainer from Jack Henry themselves or whatever provider it is. So also just, regular training events could be really powerful. A lot of people might be able to make it the first day. So that's okay. Listen to the podcast whenever you can, and you're just as up to date as everybody else. External uses, we talked about, teaching financial responsibility. You could talk about your services if you wanted to. What I've seen some people do is talk about a service that they're offering, and then they will actually take in MP3 audio files from customers asking questions. And then they'll go back in and they'll respond to those questions. So you've kind of created a show there, and it's including your customers, so you're engaging them. And it's a really great idea. And then the standard audio message from the CEO, that's a suggestion. I think that's not a great one. That was mine. So take that or leave it if you'd like. And then lastly is wikis. Okay? Wikis are basically a web page that everyone can access and everyone can edit. Okay, I'll give you an example here shortly. Again, software is fully free. Well, let me explain a little bit about what we do for our wiki. Garland Group has a wiki, and we put everything from, let me just go one more. We put all of this stuff on here. Okay, we're an audit firm. We come and do audits, and we look at endless paperwork, right? It kills me that people don't put this stuff up on something like a wiki, or an intranet for that matter, because they have to print all that stuff out. Everybody's BCP or disaster recovery is like that generally. We're killing a whole bunch of trees in the process. So why not put all that stuff up on a wiki? Have a policy procedure database, let's call it, fully searchable, fully editable by anyone that you want. You can have everyone edit it if you want. I know that probably scares especially the security guys a little bit, but it's got full access control. So what that means is that if you just want your audit team to be able to edit that kind of stuff, or just key people to be able to edit those policies, you can set it up that way. It's got the full access control to it. Human resource forms that they can print out. You can put the schedules up there, calendars. You can do your project management through it if you wanted to. What I found is that when people start using wikis, it's amazing what they can add to it. There's just so many other things that you can add to it. It just keeps on evolving. It's great. External uses, you can set up a wiki. I saw recently the Dallas Mavericks actually set up mavswiki.com. And they want all their Mavs fans to go on there and to talk about the games and stats and anything involved in Mavericks, future, present, past. And I've already went out there, and there's just a slew of people that are updating it all the time with various stats of what happened back in the 80s when we won like maybe 3 games a season or something like that. External uses allow your customers to come up with product offerings, details about the application process, if you guys do mortgages, if you all do loans, stuff like that, and bank policies that would apply to customer facing. Here's an example of our wiki. I just put this in last night, but I want to kind of give you an understanding of what it even looks like. This is what we are kind of creating right now. We're still, like I said, it's just evolving. That we put all of our bank policies and procedures out there, okay, so we can provide to our clients. We have it broken down by sections. It does a nice little table of contents that we didn't even have to do. It just did that automatically for us by us, using the titles like we did. At any point, anybody that's logged into the system can actually edit this page. They can actually see older revisions, so you have a full audit trail there. You have the ability to compare back and forth. Wow. I need to get going. And it's fully searchable. Okay, wikis are extremely powerful. Other revenue streams. Okay, well, I'm going to have to scream through this, but that's all right. Who's heard of Second Life? Okay, Second Life is a virtual world, okay? It's not a game. Don't call it a game, it's not a game. It's a world that people actually live in, and they do a variety of different things. You can do anything in this game that you can think of. I played poker the other day and lost. They've got churches there. They've got, I saw a live concert there the other day. Anything really that you want to do. There's a doctor's office there, mini doctor's office actually. Let me give you some details on this. There's 2.6 million avatars in this game. It's an entirely sustainable virtual economy. What I mean is that they have their own economy. They use currency called Linden, okay? And it basically equates to $1 US dollar equals to 250 Linden, okay? And, well, $1 million are traded in this game a day. US dollars, a day. Come on, guys, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Seriously, that blows me away. So, where's the first bank and second line? Why couldn't we do that? I don't understand why I, as a bank customer, have to go and take a credit card and put it into the system. Why can't I actually, from my bank, transfer money into this game? It's not a game. See, I'm calling it a game. Into this world and use it. I can't do that. It's kind of stuff that, as more and more people are getting older, they use this game. And I want to give you an example of Amshi here. Amshi Chung is a real player in the game. She's actually based out of Germany. She sells real estate in the game. Virtual real estate, right? Builds houses, sells land. This article came out in 2003, I believe it was. She estimated making $90,000 a year. Just doing this, that's all she does. Here's her website. Okay, she now has a staff that helps her build and sell. Her husband's involved with them. She came out, they did an update about a year ago, no, about 6 months ago. And she is officially the first millionaire of Second Life. U.S. millionaire, I'm not talking to Lyndon, I'm talking U.S. dollars for Second Life. Okay? Wells Fargo was kind of already getting on the bandwagon. They have a Second Life world called Stagecoach Island. Okay? You can go on there, and what they do is to actually treat, they try to teach you financial responsibility through it. Okay? So what I did is I got to the game, I went to sit next to the Wells Fargo ATM, and they took me a screenshot. But the thing I don't like about this is that they kind of separated themselves from the actual Second Life world, so none of the regular characters could actually get to this island. They just kind of are sitting there in their own little world, really. But they're not engaging with outside influences, which I don't really agree with. A couple other options that are probably a little bit more serious. Anybody heard of Zopa? Yeah, good. Zopa is kind of the eBay of lending. Okay, they call it peer-to-peer lending. Basically, what it is that, let's say that I want to pay for student loans, okay, and I want to create an auction, let's call it, and basically say I need $10,000 in loans. But what happens is there's other people that sign up to be a lender, and they actually give these people money. Okay, they spread it out over a few people, sometimes 50, 100 people. Their max lending is $500 that they limit their risk. But they're essentially cutting out the bank altogether, right? And it's my thought that these guys actually need to, or the banks actually need to learn how to embrace stuff like this instead of fear. Because more and more people want to be able to do this kind of stuff. They get a lot of worth about being able to share money to other people and help other people out. Very powerful thing. But don't worry, because Zopa is just in the UK, even though it says that they're at the top, they're coming to the US. Okay, never mind. Prosper is in the US and they're already doing it. So we have a US channel that is already doing this type of stuff. I mean, you can see down here, they look at their credit rating, their debt to income ratios. This is a business opportunity, he wants 25 grand. He's got 62 people that have so far said that, yeah, I'll pay the cash for it. Okay? It's pretty amazing stuff. The last example I want to show you is Wasabi. This isn't anything for y'all to care about. This is something that you should embrace. It's like an online Quicken, online Microsoft Money. The cool thing about it, though, is when I go to the grocery store and I tag it as a grocery store transaction, I'll start getting suggestions from people within this community that actually give you coupons, they'll give you ideas on how to save money in the grocery store, things like that. It's creating a community. It's not just tracking your money anymore. It's money plus benefits, really. And that's really it. So if you guys have any questions, I'm super over, so I'm probably I need to talk to you all offline, but y'all can get me around. Thank you all very much.